Hey everybody, it is Ro. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be replacing the oil cooler or oil filter housing on your 2012 Chrysler 300. It's your 3.6 liter Pentastar engine. 3.6 liter V6. It's in multiple engines, or in multiple cars, sorry. But today we're doing it on this 2012 300. So right here so far, I just got all the tools I think I'll need. There's this torque wrench, some E-torque bits, set of sockets down there, torque wrench, and this is our new oil cooler. It has new sensors installed, new oil cooler, new filter already in here. So this is what we're going to be installing today. So I just got the car jacked up. First thing we're going to do is we're going to break this oil loose. And the plug on this car is a 16 millimeter. Okay, as you can see, we got this oil fill plug loose, or the oil pan plug loose. As you're unscrewing this, push in on it so it don't just fall out of your hand. So you push in on it, and when you think you got it all out, then you're gonna hurry up and pull the bolt off real fast. Look at this over here. All right, I feel the oil dripping on my hand. Now let's pull it back real fast. That looks like some pretty clean oil right there, actually. Some really clean oil. We're gonna get some fresh oil in here. Next thing we're gonna do is drain the coolant. All right, we got our oil drained out. Put the cap back on. The fill plug back in. Now we took the lid off to the coolant. And we're gonna come down here, and there's a little valve right next to this coolant hose. I'll put my camera down there. And see that valve right there where that coolant hose is? That's where you drain your coolant out, and that hose goes underneath the splash guard at the bottom. So I need to try to turn this valve. It's turned straight up and down, and you can hear it just barely dripping. We need to turn it a little more, so one sec. Alright, that thing was an absolute pain in the ass because it's plastic, and any video you watch, a lot of people have trouble with that. So as you can see, it's unscrewed, and now we have coolant dripping out. We're not going to unscrew it anymore because it's going to fall out. So you just unscrew it enough to let this coolant slowly drip out. Now we're going to wait for all that coolant to drop out, and we'll start doing this. I'm trying to tell what color coolant that is. It looks like it's like yellowish or something. And I got orange coolant at the store. I got the right oil for sure. The coolant I'm a little worried about. We got 5W30. Let's come over here to the car. Come over here to the old Monte Carlo real quick. Old clapped out Monte Carlo. Got a good engine though. We got high mileage 5W30. So this is the coolant we got right here. We got this orange coolant. But we'll deal with that once we get to it. Because that might be mixed up with something since this cooler is broken. I'm not sure. But we're draining that out. We're gonna let all that coolant drain out. And I guess while we're waiting for it to drain out, we can start taking this off. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this engine cover off. It should just pop right off. Yep, just pops right off. As you can see, where these little plastic pieces are, this is where that cover snaps onto you, right here. And all them little holes. So I gotta pop the back off real quick, one sec. Alright, we got that popped off. Oh yeah, look at all that oil. It's gonna be a mess underneath here. Next thing we're gonna do, get an 8mm, undo this right here, this intake hose, come over here to the other side, and we're gonna undo this intake hose. As you can see, this spot was supposed to be, it's solid right now, and it's not hooked on there. This was supposed to be hooked on there, then this tightened all up. Alright, we got this side undone. Came over here, got this side loosened up. Now you want to unplug this intake air temp. Pretty sure it's intake air temp sensor. And unplug that. I plugged it back in to make sure it clicked, just to make sure it wasn't broken. And put this right here. We're gonna work this off. Come over here. Work this off. It's not hard. This whole piece is gonna come up. So this is your intake right here. So we got your intake and your lid, engine cover. As you can see, it's pretty dirty underneath here. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually hook up my air compressor and blow as much of this stuff as I can out. So when I take it all apart, stuff don't go all in these holes. So let me get my air compressor, get it hooked up, and we'll be back. Alright, we got the pancake compressor going. But we bought a couple videos ago so we could put the coolant, the vacuum fill the coolant system in the Hellcat. Sorry if I'm talking too loud. I got headphones on because this compressor is really loud. Now we're gonna come over here. Got a glove back over the intake box. Lid back on that, lid on everything. And we're gonna come over here. We're gonna clean this up a bit. Oh yeah. Well, as you can see, I forgot to cover that up. So now I'm gonna take another glove and cover that up. One sec. Alright, got that on. Now I'll start blowing this all out again. We're gonna have to get some safety glasses for this. This is really dirty. Oh my gosh. Alright, we got all that coolant drained out. We took that valve and we closed it down there. Now we're just gonna lower this car to the ground because we're done underneath there. We're gonna lower the car to the ground and we'll get to the next step. Alright, we got the car lowered to the ground. Cleaned everything up with the air compressor as best as we could. Now, it's time to start taking this stuff apart. So we unplugged the intake. Next we're gonna go unplug everything else. Throttle body sensor. See, this should be pushed in. I'm not gonna push it in right now, but that should be pushed in. It's kind of hard to do it with one hand. You need to push it in and pull it out. Alright, this one did that. This just clips on there to hold that wire there. We're gonna go around the back. Press in, down, pull out. Like that. Now we gotta try to get this metal clip off. One sec. These little metal clips are a pain in the ass. This one's already been off before, that's why it's pried open like that, that metal. Oh, there it went. There we go. Oh, well, it looks like that wire was just inside of the zip tie. Think the zip tie can pull out? And if so, I can put another one in there. So we'll just undo this right now. So we got all that wiring back. Now what we're gonna do, unplug this hose from the top. We're gonna take this brake booster hose, and we're also gonna take that off. That's your brake booster hose. That's off, got that off. Now let's go, that's it. So everything right here is off. Now what we have to do is we have to get this metal bracket off, or we just can't move this intake at all. So let me see what size this is. I think it's a 10. Yes, it is a 10. We're gonna loosen that bolt up. There's a stud there, so we're gonna loosen this nut up. Take it off. One in the back, let me get to it. Alright, we got that nut off. Now, you got those two nuts off and this bracket won't budge. So you see down there, there's a plastic piece holding this wire to a stud. So we gotta pop that plastic piece off. And I knocked the jack stand over. Alright, I'm gonna take this tool, get in behind that black plastic piece and pull it off the stud. It's really hard to record this and do it at the same time. Alright, we got that plastic piece off. Now that is a stud, not another bolt, and that is a 13 millimeter. So let me get to that. Got that on the back of that stud, and that's coming out easy. That don't need to be tight at all. That is just holding that bracket on, and that bracket is just on the corner of this intake. It's gonna pull this off, this bracket, and it's just gonna sit there just like that. So now everything, well, I forgot this hose right here. Pull that hose off up top. Now everything is undone from this side. Now we're gonna go to the other side. And we got 10 millimeter right there, and another one right there. Let me get those off and I'll be right back. So we got that 10 millimeter nut off right there. And I came over here and this nut was actually not here. So that one was missing. And I took my 8 millimeter socket, and you got 8 bolts to take out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe just 7. 7, I lied. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry about that. 7 bolts. And that intake should just lift right up. It's probably caught on something. I'm doing it with one hand. I have to lift one side up and I have to pull the studs out that side. So give me a second. The bolt could also not be all the way out. I thought it was. Make sure all these bolts are out. Yep, all those bolts should be out. Well, something's connected somewhere. Okay, so nothing was connected. It's just these bolts kept catching. Man, this little thing's pretty heavy. So pick this up, bring it over here. Look at the bottom of it. Alright. We're going to come over here. And you got your lower intake. This is just a little piece of foam that just sits up here. I'm going to take this out gently so nothing falls down in there. Alright. Now what we got to do is we have to unplug everything. So we're going to start with your coil packs. These don't have any clips on them, it looks like, so you just push down. It's going to be hard, we got to use 2 hands. Push down, pull out. Push down, pull out. Push down, pull out. And we got those 3 out. Now these injectors, these are just like the Hellcat. Pull this red tab up. This is gonna be hard to do while I'm trying to record it. So let me get my pick. Alright, I had to stop because I needed 2 hands again. I took my pick, put it behind this red tab just a little bit, and I pulled up with 1 finger on top so it didn't fly off somewhere. So we got all 3 of those pried up. And take your finger. Now you can push in. And I'm still probably not going to be able to do this with 1 hand. That black tab, you got to push in and pull out. Put this right here. Yeah, push in just like that. And we're going to do that the same with all of these. And then we're also going to take this tool right here, and we got to pry these plastic tabs up. So we can get these wires out. Alright, you take this tool and you pry these gray plastic tabs out right here. And now you got your whole harness right here on the side. It's done. Now we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. We can probably do these with 1 hand. But it's really hard because look, you can't put your finger underneath there. Yeah, I still can't do this with 1 hand. So let me just try to put this camera right here. Push down and pull out. Push down. Shoo, these are tough. Push down, pull out. Push down, pull out. Like that. And we're going to take our tool, our pick, go on this side of the red, and I'm going to have to use a finger on top like this as I pry up. See, and now that thing's up. Now I can push in. Pull out now. Just like that. I'll be back when it's done. Alright, we got both sides undone. Now the last thing you want to do before you take this lower intake manifold off is you got 2 more tabs right here. You got a gray one and you got a black one underneath that. When you're right here, make sure you don't pry on your fuel line right here. So you want to go underneath it. Well, underneath it like this, and put the tool in there and pry down on it. And then this one, I brought the tool over here and pry down on it. You got these 2 tabs out. Everyone says to undo this fuel line right here, then take this off. This fuel line has a lot of play in it. I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna try to float it over to the side and set it on this rag. So the next thing we're gonna do is start taking out your 8mm bolts from this lower intake. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's what I'm gonna start doing. Start from one side and just go opposite. Starting on this front left, I'm gonna go on the back right. Then we go to the middle right and back left. And we'll get back to you when we get all these done. Alright, we got all them bolts loose. I should just be able to lift this right up. And of course, it's just the bolt. The bolts always want to fall back down in the hole. And I'm trying to do this stuff with one hand. Fuck! Alright, I have to put the camera down for a second. It's just the bolts catching. Can't do it with one hand like I want to. There we go. We got this off, lower intake, and we're gonna put it over to the side. Just like that. We're gonna come back over here, see if we can get over to the side just a little bit more. That should be good right there. Shouldn't be bending the line, still got plenty of play in it. Go ahead and undo this, because this line was clipped onto the fuel line. Lift it up, put it back a little bit more. Now we got your oil cooler. And as you can see, let me get a light. As you can see, there's a lot of oil in there. And you can also see all these little oil spots. That's because when I took the air compressor and blew down in there to clean it out, I blew in that oil spot and it splattered everywhere. Got some on my face, everywhere. Some on the camera. So now you can see how dirty this is. This is really, really dirty. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stuff some rags in all these holes so we can clean it up. All right, as you can see, we took our shop vac, cleaned it up, wiped it down with some rags. That's looking a lot better. Now we're gonna take our 8mm E-Torx bit, and we got 5 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We gotta take those bolts out and we can pull this oil cooler out. But first, we're gonna take this, pull that red tab up on the back of it, push in, and pull off just like that. That was so easy, that's why I pushed it back on to make sure nothing was broken. But when I pushed it back on, I heard a click and it was fine. Then you got another plug back here. This one is gonna be pretty hard. There is no clip you pull out. This one, it just takes a lot of pressure. Let me put this on this oil cooler, see if we can get it. Oh yeah, that's really hard to get off. Let me get over here on the side. Oh man, that's tough. Ah, there we go, we got it. And as you can see, there is oil all inside this connector. Oil spilled everywhere back here. Got inside the sensors. So this one's good, but that one got a bunch of oil in it. Nothing you can do about that, but try to dry it off a little bit. Our new cooler has new sensors on it, and there's a hose right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this E-Torx, get these 5 bolts out, and we can lift this cooler up. All right, this bitch was hard as fuck to pull up, but we got it up. Now once we lift this up, try to pull that camera way back here. I can't pull this up right now because this coolant hose has one of these tabs just like this, a little zip tie with a tab. So I have to get my pry tool right here and get down in there somehow. I saw that, but there was no way I was gonna do that without pulling this up first. Maybe we can just pull it up out of there. It's gonna be hard though. Oh yeah, that's hard. Oh man. Ah, come on. All right, we'll have to get to you after this. All right, so we got this popped out. We couldn't get to the bottom of this coolant hose with this tool until we just lifted this up, turned it sideways, and then we could take this coolant line right here and take the clamp and pull it off. And it literally just slipped off because look how oily that is. So there's probably oil inside that coolant hose. Oil everywhere. As you can see right here, this is what failed. This is the O-ring that failed. I thought the O-ring was inside the block still because this is totally flush. No, this little space right there you see is the O-ring. It's totally flat. Let's compare it to the new one. Yeah, get that new one real quick. So as you can see, you got that black O-ring right there. That looks round, and this is just flat. I thought this was just all plastic and the O-ring was stuck in the block. No, this is the O-ring that's totally flat, so that's definitely what was leaking. All right. So the next thing we're gonna do, you can put that back over there. Next thing we're gonna do, so I'm gonna have to dry my gloves off, and you can see down in here, there's like a quart or 2 quarts of fucking oil everywhere. So what we're gonna do is take this syringe right here and suck all this oil out. Take some rags, suck it out. We're gonna just clean this whole valley up as best as we can. And as soon as we get done with that, we'll be right back. Look how much oil is down in this valley. I bought this little syringe right here from Harbor Freight for about 14 bucks. And this probably takes at least half a quart. Filled it all the way up to the top, and we still got a whole nother one to go. So I just wanted to show you guys how much oil is in that. All right, so as you can see down in there, that thing was full. We had to use that syringe and fill it up 3 times. There's still a little bit of oil and crud at the bottom, but that's because my fingers can't get all the way down there. But it's way better. We also cleaned on here as best as we could. These mating surfaces. So now on the bottom of here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we got this O-ring on the outside. And we got one down in there. Or where this O-ring goes is down in this little port. So the first thing we're gonna do is get this up in here and try to get this coolant line back on. I might have to stop the camera in a second. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes me to do this. All right, we got that line back there. That coolant line hooked up. This O-ring right here, put a little bit of oil around it. And where it's supposed to lock in down there, put some oil down there. So now we're just gonna line this bad boy up. Get it lined up down there. Check everything in the back real quick. You can barely see right there. All right, right there is where it's supposed to be. Now I'm gonna push down right here and on top. And it just snapped right in right there. So now we're just gonna get these 5 bolts in my hand. There it was. Let me get my socket real quick. All right, that one's going in. That one's going in. 1 second. My hands are so slippery. All right, that one's good. All right, come on top of here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now I'm just gonna snug them all, and then I'll come back on here and show you the torque sequence. All right, here we're gonna do the torque sequence, which is gonna be 106 inch-pounds. You got 1 right here. That's gonna be 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, that's 1. Come over here. 2. 3, 4, and then 5, and then we'll just go over all of them and check them. All right, now we'll go back to 1. 2, 3, 4. All right, that's all good. Now we're gonna plug in the sensors. Yeah, this one is just facing the opposite direction as the last one was, because we got new sensors in here. So we got a little bit of oil right here. Let me clean it off a little bit. Can't get way in there, but plug this one in right here. There's that one. Over here with this, push it in. Accidentally clicked it in twice, so push this in, grab the sides, click. There we go. So all this is good now. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna change these gaskets on the top and bottom of this lower intake. So once we get this set up, we'll be right back. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace these upper and lower gaskets. The square ones are up top right here. If you look close right here, there's a little notch. That's where you get your pick in. Lift this gasket up. We're gonna do that to all 6 of these. You can see there's like oil in them. So, have to clean that out a little bit. All right. Oh. So as you can see the color difference right here, they're blue at first and then they changed that color. I saw that online, so I ain't just making that up. Unless they lied to me online, but all right. I guess it's fine to have a little oil in there to help them stick in there. I'll get these 6 square ones. Put them up top. It doesn't matter how it goes. It's the same on both sides. These little knots right here, or whatever you want to call them, is what holds them in place. This car was leaking oil like crazy, and it was probably leaking air too. This is gonna be riding way better. All right, now we got that fuel line right there. It's got a lot of flexibility though. I'm gonna move this over. Watch your injectors, make sure nothing hits on the injectors. And same thing, there's a notch right here. And you take your pick and get all 6 of these out. So as soon as I get these out and put the new ones in, I'll show you the next step. All right, as you can see, we got all the new gaskets on the bottom. We got all the gaskets on the front, or on the top. We're gonna line this up. Shake these bolts around. And throw them in by hand. That one's in. That one's in. Screw them in a couple threads and pull up on them. If they're locked in, then you know. Yeah, and this one fell out earlier, so I'll put it right here. All right, we're gonna snug all these down, then we'll get to the torque sequence. But first, I'll show you this we gotta put back. So you got your this gray little zip tie, whatever the hell you want to call it. It goes over here to your fuel injector and stuff. That's gonna go on top right here. This top hole right underneath your fuel line. So you're gonna snap that in, and then right here, your main line has a black one that snaps in this hole. So that's it right there. We got our fuel line right here we never took apart. Now we're just gonna snug these and we'll get to the torque sequence. All right, we're gonna do the torque sequence now. The torque it needs to be at is 106 inch-pounds, just like the lower part of it was. That's 2. 3. 4. Over here. 5. Over here 6. 6. Got 7. 8. And we'll check them all again. 2. 3. Yep. 4. Yep. 5. 6. Oh, that one must have been loose. We'll have to check it again in a minute. 7. 8. Alright, we'll go back over here and check this one again. There we go. Let me tighten these up. Get loosened up a little bit. Alright. We go all the way back again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, there it is. 7, 8. So that's 8. We got all this torque down. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start plugging stuff back in. This I pulled it out a little bit, but this side, passenger side, plugs are gonna be underneath the fuel line. So these gray plugs go in here. The plugs with the red tabs go to your injectors. So we're gonna push it down. Hang on, I just didn't hear that click. All right, right here. Yep. I keep pulling the red tab down on accident. So grab both sides, push it down. Yep, it clicked. Now push the red tab down. All right, same with this. Grab the side. It's really hard to hear that click. It's real quiet. Yep, it just clicked. Yep, push the red down. Grab both sides. Yep, it clicked. Push it down. Take these gray tabs right here. Just like that. This is the smallest click ever right there, but I heard it. So that's why this is very hard to get off. All right, let's hear it again. Yep, I heard it click. That's on there. Yep. Yep, that's on there. We're gonna go over to the other side now. Same thing over here. Besides over here, you got 3 of these little plugs. Yeah, take both sides of your injector. Yep, click. Push that down. Second one's caught right here. Push that in. I'm gonna do that one again. Oh yeah, that one's in there good. It won't come apart, so that's in there good. Both sides. Yep, click. Push it in. Push all these tabs in. Gray tab. Another gray tab, and then there's a, I guess that's gray too. I thought that last one was black. I'm gonna plug these in. Yep. Yep, that clicked in. Just like that. So everything is plugged in. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start putting the top in. So we'll get back to you in a second. All right, right here you can see we're putting the upper intake on now with the throttle body. And these two studs go in these two brackets. So we're just gonna tilt it. So them studs go in there like that. Then we're gonna put it down just like that. That's how it's supposed to go. We're gonna just hand thread these screws in. Now it's going in the plastic, so. Got some in here. Alright, that's down there. And there's one back here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, as you can see, we're just snugging these up now so it kind of stops. There. There. Snap right there, over here. Yeah. Right there. Yeah, they're all pretty tight. Now we're gonna go on with our torque sequence. So the torque is 89 inch-pounds. We're gonna take our torque wrench right here that was at 106. And we're gonna go down, what did I say again? 89 inch-pounds. So that's 100, 90, 80, so 89, so we're gonna go up to 90. 90 inch-pounds. And we're gonna go in with the torque sequence, which is 1 up here. That's 1. You got 2 right here. You got 3. And 4. Got 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to go through all of them to check them. Dude, I can't see shit. All right, there we go. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they were all loose because as we just did the torque sequence, they loosen up. So that's why you got to keep going until they all click. I'm gonna go again. 1, 2, yeah, 3, yeah, 4, yeah, 5. Now they're all clicking. 6, 7. So those are all torqued down. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this hose over here, your overflow hose for your transmission, I think. So it's just gonna clip right here. It's gonna clip right here. And then this goes right here. All right, so we got that right there. Now we're gonna come over here. And I'm probably gonna have to stop the camera in a second because this is where we was at earlier where we had to get this stud out of this plate. So now that's what we're at. We gotta put this plate back up here. As you can see, these studs, you got a stud right here, stud over there. So I guess that'll help me align this bolt. So I'll put these on the studs, just like that. And then the nut is on the outside. So you don't thread it in like this because you won't be able to put a socket on it. Put it in. Trying to find it. All right, so I'm threading that in. And it's a long bolt, so after I get that done, then I'll come back with you because I know you can't see nothing. All right, so we just torqued down the intake and I fucking forgot that we're supposed to put this foam piece back in. So I took that back apart just so we could lay this foam piece in right here. And then you're gonna repeat the same steps you just did. You're gonna take these 2 studs, tilt them in right there. Make sure everything is good. All your gaskets are there. Yep. And lower down the intake, and we'll do the same torque sequence again. All right, so we got that stud on there with our 13mm. And as you can see, just this hose, that's all it was. And to get that off, it was really hard. So now you're gonna put your 2 10mm bolts, or nuts. Let me get my ratchet. You just got those 2 10mm bolts. They don't have to be tight at all. Like that, that's good. Let me get it over here. Oh, watch the sensor. They don't need to be very tight. Piece of junk ratchet. All right, there we go. Try this one. All right, there we go. Now, we're gonna start plugging everything in. Oh, the light fell down there. See if you can come over here more. So you got this line. This pushes on there. Let's bring this up here real quick. This is gonna push on here. Plug this in here. Push that in. This is gonna go in your intake actually. This sensor is gonna go up here. Right back in this little clip. One sec. And that little zip tie came off. So this one right here is not gonna be able to clip anything, but that's fine. So that's clicked in right there. Got all the sensors plugged in. And you take this vapor line, bring it up top, drop it down just like that. And you gotta take your brake booster line, right here to your brakes. And I think this was actually above. Yep. This is the brake booster line, just like what was underneath the supercharger if you watch some of my videos. So we got all that hooked up. That's all the sensors, 3 sensors. 1, 2, 3 vapor lines. We got one more plug, and that is gonna be for your intake. So stay right there, I'm gonna get the intake. Not my fault. So we got this plug right here, your intake temp sensor, right there. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna push this on. But as you can see, there's a little notch right there. That's what this locks into. So we're gonna try to lock this in place. There's supposed to be something on top of that, but that was missing, but it's still fine. And when I took this apart, that was not locked on there, and this might be why. So, try to push this intake on. All right, that's flush. Yeah, we got it locked in down here. So twist the whole thing like this and push forward. Reach on the bottom. This is all the way on. Then we're gonna come over here. Then you're gonna hook this intake up to this hose. You see these little notches right here? That goes into this section. So let me put it on the bottom first. All right, now we're on there. Follow it back and forth. All right, we got those notches in there. Now we're gonna take our 8mm, and we're gonna tighten these up. Don't have to be nothing too crazy. Like that. Pull it off, that's not going nowhere. It comes to the other side. Okay, you go over here actually. And it is right here. So you feel all the way on the bottom, this is flush as far as we can go. And we're gonna tighten this one down. All right, that's pretty tight. It's not going nowhere. You got your intake temp sensor. Plug it in, make sure you hear it. Oh, it's a very small click. Let me try that again. Yeah, listen close. Yeah, that was a very small click. It clicked in though. All right, that's in. That's tight, that's tight. Clip down here. That's good, that's everything plugged in. Now we just gotta put our engine cover up top, start cleaning up. These are all of our old gaskets right here. Everything's hooked up, and that's how you change the oil filter housing and oil cooler for 2012 V6 or any Pentastar or Pentastar V6 3.6 liter engine. Okay, the camera died, so I had to hurry up. But the last thing we did was we just put this engine cover back on. And then we went ahead and filled our oil up. Let it settle for a while. Checked our dipstick, so we knew it was full. Then the last thing we had to do was fill our coolant up. So to fill that up, as you can see, right behind this intake hose is this little Phillips head screw, or flathead. Use a flathead screwdriver, and you take that out and you just keep pouring coolant in here until it starts overflowing out of there. When it overflows out of there, you hurry up, put that cap on, and this will be full. Put the cap on, and then you have to turn the car on, drive it around for a second to make sure it gets up to temp 200 degrees so the thermostat can open, and then it'll suck a little more fluid in. Turn your heat all the way up while you're driving around, That helps get air bubbles out too. Come back, let the engine cool down, and then finish topping the coolant off. And that's it. And that's the job complete right there. Appreciate you watching the videos. If you're one of my subscribers, and if you're new, this is your first video you ever watched, give the channel a subscribe, and I appreciate it.